Hi, class. This is Dr. Zukas here. I wanted to provide you with a video finishing off the semester, wrapping things up, and giving you some guidance moving forward in the future. A lot of you are at different levels in your academic career, and some of you are taking off now into the unknown of the job market and your future working in media and other different avenues. So, wanted to provide you with some advice and some inspiration moving forward. Inspiration and hope is really needed during this tough time of the pandemic. I also want to really thank you for your patience this semester as you've been adapting a lot to this new learning environment. I have been as well myself. It takes a lot of perseverance, motivation, setting up a good schedule to keep on top of courses while you're doing them from home and ensuring that you keep up with everything. So good job on that. And as we're wrapping up the semester here in the next week or so, be sure to let me know if you're still having any worries or any concerns, need any extra help. We are wrapping up the semester now with our final quiz of AP Style. We've got our final investigative campus resource project due here in about a week and a half, so you've got time to finish that up. And then about a week after that, we've got our final exam, and that will be just on the second half of the semester. So it won't be comprehensive. I won't be asking you to remember everything way back at the start of the semester before the pandemic or when it was just breaking, but just this second half of the semester. So I think that will be advantageous for you so that we can wrap up this course nicely. So we've covered a lot in this course, in particular in news writing and a lot of other media components as well that we've brought into the mix here. And I hope that you're coming away from this course with a positive experience and that it can help you whether you're going into journalism, that's informative communication, or documentaries, photography, strategic communications like public relations or advertising, or communication for corporations. There are all sorts of different types of fields that this course sets you up for. Even in journalism, could be for broadcasting, could be online, could be radio, right? All of our communications require a solid foundation in writing, in Associated Press style, and could earn interpersonal skills like interviewing. Even if you don't do formal sit-down interviews for a story, we do lots of things that mimic interviews quite a bit in communication work. That's why we often call the communication industry a revolving door industry. It's one where we can maybe major in journalism or advertising and we'll head off into those careers, but then maybe down the road a little ways, we'll move into public relations or a different career field. So I myself graduated my undergrad with a journalism major and an advertising emphasis, and also a English major with a creative writing emphasis. So kind of had a variety there. My first job out of school was in journalism as a newspaper, but then I went on. I worked in advertising at a magazine for a while. I then did work in public relations for a little while for a press, for a book publishing company. So a lot of the skills that I learned in journalism or in media, mass communication, was really applicable to those other fields as well. And a lot of people do that. You can move between these different fields in communication until you find what's really right for you. I've circled back now and am now teaching journalism courses because I love the field so much, and advise the Royal Purple campus newspaper here at Whitewater. But others, find different paths, and that's why it's a revolving door. You can kind of move through that door into these different career paths. So I'm going to give you some final advice as you're moving through your academic career and really preparing to hit the job market and begin your professional career. First, some of you I do know are just starting out your academic career here at Whitewater. So I do want to emphasize that grades do come first. It can be easy to get distracted by the social life or by other things happening in the world, on campus, in our communities. Our families take a lot of our time. But really, first and foremost, focus on those grades. Really do your best in your courses to soak up as much information as possible. And then put back what you learn into your assignments, into those signature assignments, especially that you do, like this final project that we have wrapping up our course. Those should be kind of the piece de resistance, right? The epitome of the best work that you can do in each of these courses. And you can save those. I highly recommend that everyone has a personal website that you can save these great assignments to, these examples of your work, so the storyboards that we've created in this class, some of your best news stories, this final project, especially with that multimedia component that you'll be adding into that. Those are examples of showing the breadth and the depth that you've learned from the material and then how you've applied it, right? So the grades show that you've passed the course and you've done well, and then those assignments, those projects show how you've applied then what you've learned. So go ahead and get a WordPress site, wordpress.com. You can get a free website with free storage. Don't have to pay anything. I have one myself. Go ahead, check it out. Mine is keithzukis.wordpress.com. There's some ads on the page, but I don't get spam from my email. You do need to use your email to get the page and whatnot. But you can put your resume up there, put your work examples, have your references listed on there. All sorts of things that are important, because really most of our jobs today we're applying online. You need to go to an organization's website and submit an electronic application. You can upload your resume, right, which is like a Word document or a PDF, and on that you can have your website, right, to your personal work. So then that HR person, that human resource worker who's going through those, they can click on that and they can see all of the great things that you've done. And that'll put you so much further ahead of those other people applying for that position because they were able to see all of the excellent work that you've done before you even came in for an interview, right? So I really highly recommend you do that. And so focus on those courses and on those grades. And then while you're in those courses, be sure that you're establishing good relationships with your professors. Be going in for office hours or emailing them or calling them to ask them questions when you need to, because those are going to be an important reference for you moving forward as you're applying for those jobs, and maybe letters of recommendation even. All right, so grades is the first building block. Next, you're going to want to start getting involved on campus. This semester, if you check out royalpurplenews.com under the opinions tab, we had a couple seniors who wrote goodbye columns. And one of the seniors, there's really focused on the need to get involved. He said that he really wasn't enjoying his time at college until he started to get involved in organizations, started to make friends and network, if we think of it professionally, with people who had common interests. And so it was enjoyable, and yet it was also a little bit of work, a little bit of getting your hands into what your professional career will be like, but without all the pressure, right? It's not a formal internship where you're graded, or you need to get a salary or like a job. So there's less pressure, and it's really a terrific learning environment, and you're with like-minded people of similar interests. So it's great for making friends, networking, and really getting involved in your campus. So, of course, in the communication department, we have a ton of opportunities, right? As I said, I advise the Royal Purple newspaper, which is online. We get actually a ton of viewership online, so it's online and in the physical print paper, so you can practice some online skills, of course, learn reporting, editing, and also layout skills for a newspaper or creating various types of products. And we have an advertising and multimedia departments for photography, for graphic design, and advertising. So all of those different interests are available right in the Royal Purple organization to get involved in. And you can join the Royal Purple unpaid. You can also receive a salary as an editor or as an ad representative or a manager, a student manager in a department. And also for internship. We also do accept internships, provide internships for journalism, advertising, and public relations majors. So lots of opportunities in that organization alone. Of course, then we have our campus radio station. You can get all kinds of on-air talent, have your own radio show, right? How terrific would that be to have on your resume? We've got, of course, our TV station, UW TV, where you can broadcast sports and some news programming and learn a lot of those production components for creating a newscast. Right, so lots of opportunity there. We have Warhawk News, which is a podcast that you could be involved in. Forensics, right, for public speaking, if you're interested in going into public relations and want to add some of those public speaking skills. And we have CHIP, right, the communication and health, right, health communication. So those are just a few of the organizations just from the communication department alone. And there are all sorts of other opportunities on campus. You could end up writing press releases and stories and taking photos for UW marketing and communications in Higher Hall. You could work as an intern for the athletic department. I've had several students who have worked with the athletic department in creating a lot of content for their newsletter and for their website. And again, those are just a few opportunities. There's tons that are available out there for you. So I highly recommend that you get involved through those organizations and on campus. And while it will really help you professionally, it will also, I think, have an indirect effect of helping you personally and really enjoying your college experience more. So I think that's pretty important. Now, as you're growing in your career, going from freshman to sophomore, junior, senior, then you'll want to start moving up in those positions, maybe adding on another organization or two to continue getting more involved. I would highly recommend your sophomore or junior year studying abroad to open up your mind to different worlds, different cultures. We do again offer a study abroad here in the comm department, but there are lots of opportunities through the Office of Global Experiences where you can go abroad for a couple weeks or a semester, a winterim over the summer, and really expand your horizons. You can improve a language skill. You can take courses abroad to expand your portfolio to an international type of a career. And I think, again, another indirect effect is that you'll boost confidence in yourself. You'll be out on your own and you'll realize that, hey, I can survive on my own. I can continue to grow and be successful. And you'll come back with a broader worldview and a more personal self-confidence that will help propel you into the future. So I highly recommend you try to take advantage of that opportunity while you can now. You know, only 1/3 of citizens in the United States have a four-year college degree. You're part of really a special group, an elite group of people. And with that come a lot of these different opportunities that no one else gets a chance to have. So be sure you take advantage of those. Get involved in these organizations. Study abroad. Odds are after you graduate, you'll jump into your career. You'll be so busy starting families. It's a pretty low probability that you'll have a chance to really spend a significant long amount of time immersed in another culture in the future. You'll be able to go on vacations and things, but you really won't get another opportunity like study abroad again after this. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of that. Next, kind of building on top of these organizations that you're getting involved in these on campus and maybe in the community, these are going to develop into internships. So you're going to now maybe be getting credit for these organizations that you're a part of, and maybe they're even semi-professional. So of course we offer internships on campus, but they'll also be through businesses out in the community. And I know many of us have struggles with finances in college, And during this time, it's a tight financial time for us. But I do want to encourage you not to let internships pass you by. Internships really are the first step into your professional career. So I know it can be difficult, but sometimes it is smarter to take a lower paying or unpaid internship than it is to have that factory job or to have that restaurant job. Those are jobs, right? Those are getting us by right now, but they're not really setting us up professionally for the future, for the long term. An administrative assistant, a desk job on campus that helps you practice communication skills, your emailing, professional emails, dealing with colleagues, right? That's going to set you up for your career more than some of those other jobs that might have actually pretty good salaries right now and be helping you get by, but those don't have the long-term payoff. And when you decided to come to college, right, you took the long-term gamble, right? You're like, I'm in this for 4 years or maybe a bit more, because I know that investing now in my education is going to pay off in the long run. So don't sell yourself short. Don't, come to college, to university, taking that gamble and then getting here and then struggling to get by, and not taking advantage of all of these opportunities for you because you need to make money for the present, right? And now I'm not recommending you take out a ton of student loans. I would recommend taking out as few as you need to, but do your best not to let all of these different opportunities slip away from you. If you end up as a senior ready to graduate, but really the only experience you've had is factory work or working in a restaurant or kind of those jobs that aren't really applicable to your career path, you haven't been building your resume during this time. So you'll have that degree, but you won't have the padding, the extras that show you've been applying what you've been learning in the coursework. And so you're not going to be on par with a lot of the other applicants for the jobs that you're trying to get. All right. So I want to encourage you to sometimes you might need to make those decisions. And with those internships, you want to think about how many you need to do. One for sure, but maybe even two. Again, if you can get a part-time job as well in media or in your career area, that's terrific, of course, as well. Now, we live in a time of economies of scale, right? So if you're graduating and you want to be a reporter in a nice small town and do some great community reporting and work, then maybe you only need one internship. Work at the Royal Purple, get it, maybe the UWW-TV, get a good internship, and that should get you into that small town market, and that's great. There's often lower prices. Housing doesn't cost as much in those smaller markets, so the salaries won't be as high as a larger market or a middle market like maybe Madison, or a large market like Chicago, but it'll be on scale with that community. All right. Now, if you are trying to get into a middle market like Madison or a higher market like Chicago, you're going to want to think about doing a couple internships, or an internship and a part-time job. And maybe that second internship needs to be at that middle or high market level. I've had students and colleagues who have gone to New York for an internship, gone to Chicago, DC for an internship with ESPN. I sent one student to work at Sesame Street in New York for an internship there, and she ended up going on and working with them. Another person to CBS News. So if your ultimate goal is maybe to get to those higher markets, you're going to need to be building those internships and those part-time jobs now to be reaching those, okay? If you're comfortable in a smaller community and that's your goal, or maybe even a middle market, then you maybe don't need two internships or that part-time job, but you're still going to need at least one, as I said. That internship is really your foot in the door, all right? So let's see here. Now let's say you're working your way, you're in your junior or senior career, senior year now. Um, you are on the job market now, your senior year. Really, you'll be probably taking your capstone courses. Now you're in a high level position in an organization. You're not just a follower at the Royal Purple. You're now a student manager of some sort. And maybe you do have a part-time job at a local news station or a radio station, and taking your capstone courses maybe. Now you need to also factor in here being on the job market, applying for jobs. I highly recommend that you graduate in the spring if you're trying to get a job in the Midwest. Usually it is harder to get jobs in the wintertime because it's right after the holidays. There's really not a ton of hiring. There's not as much commerce happening in the state. People are kind of hibernating for the winter, and it's before taxes. So really the job market for media professionals, in my experience, is best in the spring. So if you're thinking about your courses and you're thinking, do I want to graduate in December? Do I want to hold off until spring? From my opinion, spring is best. There are a lot of job fairs as well in the spring, and also even the summer before your junior year. You'll want to be looking for job fairs. The Wisconsin Broadcasting Association has job fairs. The Wisconsin Newspaper Association has job fairs. So that's Wisconsin, of course, and other states like Illinois, Minnesota, and all around the country do have job fairs. And then you want to be looking online, of course, checking your traditional online newspapers, but also LinkedIn and those other resources. So really you want to be dedicating time your senior year to doing that. And don't be afraid to be applying to 30 jobs or so, right? You need to cast a wide net to be able to get some responses, okay? And what that does is it gives the power back to you. You don't want to be just applying for a job here and there and kind of scraping along and hoping that one will come through and you'll just take it. What you want to do is really cast a wide net. So maybe let's say you're planning on graduating in spring. So maybe around winter time, you start applying for jobs and you let them know that you'll be graduating in the spring. So maybe over winter break. And then you'll kind of even keep looking and looking for more opportunities as winter starts turning to spring. Really Easter, you're hitting those hard. And you kind of want to already have applied for jobs by Easter. Because that's just a month or two before you'll graduate, and that's really your ideal time, right, to have a job as soon as you get out of school. Employers want people fresh out of school. They want you with those fresh perspectives, the cutting edge education that is important for now, right? And they want your youth. They want your energy. They want to know what's important to your generation, your demographic. And so they want you fresh out of college, right? And throw you in to the mix. And what that'll do by applying to a bunch at one time is all of a sudden toward graduation, you'll start getting replies. And it's kind of an interesting coincidence that they'll come back at once. You'll get maybe a few job offers. And you always want to take some time to say whether you accept or not, because that'll give you the opportunity maybe to get a couple other offers in. And that gives you the power now. Now, instead of just taking anything that comes along your way, now you've got a few options and you can weigh those and you can even negotiate for salaries with those. You can say, hey, I've also got an offer here. I would really like to join your organization, but is there something we can do to really solidify me coming to join your team? So that's a great thing about that, of applying to a lot of careers there. And another important reason why it's important to shoot for that spring graduation is because in media especially, summer is a lot slower for us. Politics are out of session, school is out of session, a lot of people are going on vacations, and that includes people in the media industry. So a lot of media workers will be taking their vacations over the summer, and since things are slower, it's a great time to train new folks coming into the organization. So it is when a lot of media organizations train incoming employees. All right. And you've got a great career field to go into. Since the recession of the early 2000s, now media is in a great place. Even despite this recent COVID-19 pandemic, the media industry is doing very well. Whether you're interested in traditional media like newspapers, which are seeing a rebirth, especially now moving online, TV, of course, is just as important of a daily diet of media as it always has been. And of course, online is ever growing. And so, whether you're going into informative or strategic communications, there's plenty of opportunities for you. And those of you interested in entertaining as well. I did put a document on Canvas that's about the media economy. All right, and that talks about how we're really in a $1 billion industry of creating information, advertising, entertainment, right? All different types of communications. And copyright, right, is so important for a lot of what we do so that we can garner good wages and good benefits for being a part of these media organizations. So you have an exciting industry that you're about to become a part of and join. It's so fun. It's so exciting and interesting, and you'll be learning so much about production and about other fields. And I'm so excited for you. And I hope that despite some of the current difficulties that we're going through as a society, as a world, I want you to have a positive outlook, to be hopeful, because you really have a terrific career trajectory ahead of you. And I'm jealous in a way that you have such an exciting future in store. So thank you everyone for being a part of this class this semester. I've really enjoyed having you, and keep in touch with me moving forward. Feel free to use me as a reference in the future, and I wish you all the best. Bye now.